Good morning, everyone. I'm Wendy, and I'm teaching gentle revitalizing yoga for Thupten Nobu Ling. This morning, I thought let's start lying on our back. If you like, you can bring a little bit of pillow under your head. I just fold my blanket over a couple of times. And when you first get on your back, do whatever it is that you feel like doing. And this class is 9 o'clock Santa Fe time, 11 o'clock Boston time, which is where I am. And who knows when you're practicing, but especially in the morning, but also maybe the late afternoon, the evening is also a good time just to stretch the whole body. And when you just reach out, and especially the morning time, the body naturally wants to do this. When you get up from the couch or when you get off of a plane, your body naturally wants to do a bit of like full body. Once you've done a little bit of that, then let's bring the knees, bend the knees and bring the feet on the ground. No need, you don't have to have a specific alignment with your feet. They can be a little further forward. They could be as wide as the mat. Maybe not too close together. It's the only thing I'd really say. If you wish to have your knees resting in, you could do that. Bring your arms out wide away from your body. And then lift your pelvis up and lengthen out the low back, and then slowly bring your pelvis back down. So it's a lift and then a lengthen and pelvis back down. Then you can press your head into the ground and lift your upper body, just the chest, lift, and the shoulders can widen, and then slowly bring your upper body down. Your head, you could nod, you could turn, move the head a little bit, and then just find a comfortable place for it. See where it lands. And then have your eyes open. They don't want to be wide open, staring directly into space, but also just see if your eyes can open and allow them to look around just a little bit and take in your environment. Quite often when we practice going in, most styles of meditation, and when we're being more contemplative, we close our eyes. Here, see if you can sense inwardly, but with your eyes open, not divorcing your eye sense consciousness, allowing the information to come in through your eyes while you're sensing yourself lying on the ground in this shape, noticing your feet, back of the pelvis, shoulders, upper back, arms on the ground, back of your head. The breath is moving smoothly and naturally. If you want to take a deeper breath in, you can. If you want to take a sigh out, you can. Relaxing in your jaw, so we're not clenching the teeth at all. And just another few moments noticing the rise and fall of the belly and the chest as you breathe, allowing your body, the three-dimensionality of your being, to expand into space, expand into the dimension of your shape, and release into the ground, allowing the support of the earth. And just by lying in this shape, it gives an opportunity for our spine to release into length, width, and depth. Then bring your arms, still lying on the ground, bring the arms up by the ears and reach out over your head. Your thumbs can touch the ground and the hands can face one another and reach out. Then bend the elbows and with the opposite hand, grab the elbow or the forearm, but opposite hand, grab your elbows and press the elbows out into the hands so that it feels like the elbows are moving out wide, but they can't move wide because you've got a hold of your arms. Reach the arms, pointing out through the fingers again over your head. And then do that same move, but this time the other forearm will be in front. So you went some automatic way probably. So now there's the other forearm on top and you grab your elbows, move the upper arms, the elbows wide, creating an isometric tensioning, but the hands are holding onto the elbows. And you can feel it brings up sensation in the arms and the shoulder region. Reach the arms again, reach out through the fingertips and interlace your fingers and then turn the palms and reach out over your head. And if your hands still reach the floor, that's fine. If they need to come away from the floor in order to reach out through the hands, as we stretch out the forearms. Bring the arms over the head. And release. Bring the arms out to a T. And bring your knees into your chest. I'm going to take some gentle side to side with the knees. And for today, as you reach out through the arms, keep the arms and the shoulders firmly on the ground. As you take the knees over to the right, don't let your shoulder lift up. The knees don't need to go all the way back to center. And take your knees over to the left. Move slowly and go side to side a few times and focusing on keeping the back of your shoulder, the shoulder blade, in contact with the ground. Turn your palms up while you do this. It's just a small difference. Take the knees side to side. Keep your knees together if you're able. There's a little bit of strengthening core work going on when we go side to side, knees together, not letting the knees go all the way over. And finish one more each side. Finish with the knees going to the side that you didn't start on. And feet down. Take your legs into the air and circle out your ankles. And pull the toes back and point. And pull the toes back strongly and point, reach out and pull back and point, and then a couple more circles, also pulling the inner arches back and the outer arches back, and reaching the feet to the sky the best you can. That creates some toning in the belly as well as you reach your feet to the sky. Okay, and feet down. Roll over to one side or the other with your hands. Press yourself up. Come and take a seat. You could sit on your blanket, or this is the way I'm going to sit today. Get one of your blocks. You have blocks, that's awesome. If you don't, you can use your blanket and come and sit on your shins. It won't be for too long. Just want to do some neck work sitting. So either cross-legged or on your shins. If you're sitting on your shins on a block, wriggle so you can feel the sitting bones pressing into the block. Fingertips down by your side. And drop your right ear in the direction of your right shoulder. You can bring your right hand up to the outside, the left side, and press your head into the right hand. So you press your left side of your head into the right hand. The hand is moving slightly, pressing down, and the head is moving into the hand. So isometric, be gentle, not too intense. And then you can release, bring the right arm down, bring the left arm out a little bit, circle through your left wrist. And then bring your left arm more behind you as you take some movement in your shoulder and your arm. If it's too much, anything is too much, you just come out early. That's how you take care of yourself. Everyone take care of themselves as we practice. You do your practice according to how things are today for you. Okay, and then once you finish that, the right hand comes to the side of the face with a little assist to bring your head center. Pause. Take a moment in the middle, and then we can see how it goes the other side. So let your left ear drop towards your left shoulder. Reach your right arm out a little bit. And with your left hand, bring it to the right side of the head, and just very gentle, your hand presses into the head, and then the head presses into the hand, creating this tensioning, isometric engagement. Hand pressing one way, the head moving into the hand. So remember, just do things in a way that feels safe and good for you. Everybody's body is different and it's always changing. Then release the hand, left hand down. Continue to let your head hang to the left. Reach out through your right arm and circle through your right wrist. And then bring the right arm behind you, and you can take some movements more in the upper shoulder, bringing the right arm behind you, feeling in your side neck. And do less. More is not better. Less can be more. And then the left-handed side of the face, slowly bring your head up. And we'll rotate the neck. So just this is the twist with your nose leading and your eyes leading. Turn your head to the right. Reach out through the left arm. Look around with the eyes, reaching out through the left arm. And back to center. Then with your nose and your eyes, look over your left shoulder, reach out through the right arm. So you're being quite active, looking around with the eyes, letting the nose go, seeing how far your head turns as you reach out through your right arm. If it hurts, back out, or back out a little or a lot. Do something, if you use the word hurt to describe your experiential sensation, then that's a sign that's, you don't want to hang out there. All right, bring it back to center. Let's take it onto the hands and knees when you're ready. Transition, feel free to use your blanket under your knees. We will go into an early low lunge, which can be helpful to have a blanket in your 2 blocks, which are the 2 main, yoga props that I use. Spread your hands on the ground. We can take some cat-cow when you're ready, which is dropping the belly, lifting the chest, stretching the front of the neck, and then rounding, looking back between your legs, pushing up between shoulder blades, rounding the tail under. So go to your rhythm. You can conjoin breath with movement. One half breath with one movement. This pose in particular, it really doesn't matter which movement you do, the inhale and exhale. They're both good. They both have a different effect, so you can experiment. And the main thing is that you don't hold your breath, that you breathe. And in general, the emphasis, the way I teach with the breath, the emphasis, what I emphasize, is to lengthen the exhales, to make sure your exhales are nice and long, focusing on emptying the air. And then that allows the inhale to happen pretty easily once you've taken a long exhale. At some point, your big toes together and your knees wide, and let's take it back into a child's pose. You could bring your forehead on your fists. Some people, it's hard to bring the head down. So forehead on fists, or also forehead on block is really nice. When your forehead comes down, you could bring the forehead on the back of the hands, or reach the arms forward, forehead all the way down. Feel your belly release between your thighs. Move your weight gently side to side through the legs and the torso, the hips. When you're ready, bring yourself back onto hands and knees, and let's take some circles. Warm up your hips, forward, side, back, other side, forward. You can take the circle small or big, and at some point reverse. So you do about 3 circles each way, more or less, and let the rest of your body, your head, neck, arms, shoulders respond. Your elbows, try and unlock them. Most of the time, not all of the time. There are times when a locked elbow is fine, but a lot of times an unlocked elbow, an opportunity for the elbow to bend, can be really useful. And this is one of the situations where if you unlock your elbows, you'll find more movement through your upper body, shoulders, chest. Let's bring ourselves flat. If you have the blanket underneath you in prep for lunge, then bring your pelvis onto the blanket. Lie for a moment with your forehead down. The forehead could be on the back of your hands, or turn your head one way or the other. Feel your front body in touch with the ground. Let's move into Sphinx, back bend, elbows under your shoulders. Hands spread, hands on the ground, and reach your toes back. You can engage in your legs, press the tops of the feet down, and also lengthen the tailbone towards your heels, which is a little lift from the low belly. And that's especially for people who tend to have round strong sways in their back, which is my body, but not everyone's body. But they see how one way I'm just relaxing, and then the other way I'm coming less arch in the low back. Okay, you're breathing well. If you're not breathing easily in and out, that can be a sign that A, you're spaced out, or B, it's too much and you need to back out. If you like, lift your elbows, keeping the shoulders down. Take a couple of breaths a little deeper. If deeper is useful and helpful and serves you. If deeper is just because ego says I have to, then just look and see if it's something useful for you. Just want your practice to be helpful, healthy for you. No competition, nothing you have to prove. And slowly come down and bring yourself onto your hands and knees. We'll take ourselves into a lunge. So I'm going to take my left foot forward first, because oftentimes in yoga we always go the right side first, but I like to mix it up. So we do, sometimes left first, sometimes right first. If you have your blocks can be each side of the front foot. And then we want to lengthen across the top of the back leg. So to lengthen across the top of the back leg, sometimes the back knee moves back, or sometimes the front foot moves forward. And then let yourself go side to side, dropping the hips side to side. Can look over your right shoulder, look over your left shoulder. If you have blocks, see if you can bring once you've stopped the side to side, see if you can bring your blocks second height, if you have them on the lower height, or see if you can bring your blocks on the higher height. And it doesn't matter if you can't, remember, I'm just giving you options. So then you lift your body up. Yeah, and then I see one of you, Victor's got his hand on his front knee, so that's another way of doing it. And then you can move the blocks out of the way, bring your hands down, come back. So then as you take your left leg back, you hold the left leg parallel to the floor. Hold the left leg parallel to the floor. So you just have your two hands and your right knee down. That's it. Left leg back parallel if you can. Victor, left leg back parallel. See how this leg's back? I know, sorry, it's hard to see. There you go. Awesome. Okay, and slowly down. Take a moment either sitting up or in child's pose. Sometimes sitting up is more restful than child's pose. You can decide. And then let's bring it back onto hands and knees. And we'll take the right foot forward. Hands can be on low blocks or finger tented on the ground. Press the top of the back foot into the ground, lengthen across the top of the back leg. And then your pelvis can move side to side, looking over your shoulders. Do your best to have your front foot heel flat. And it's nice for the top of the back thigh and deep into the side of the pelvis of the leg that's behind you. Then after some side to side, come more still. Bring your blocks either on the medium height or the highest height or on your leg. That's fine too. And then take a little more open up in your chest. Couple of smooth, deep breaths. And then release the hands down to the ground, move the blocks out of the way. Bring your right leg back, and as you take the right leg back, see if you can take it parallel to the floor, holding it parallel to the floor for a few breaths. Couple of breaths. And release. Now blanket, you can move that out of the way and bring yourself into a squat. Let your squat go side to side. Doesn't matter if some people can squat quite well, easy. And some people it's really hard. So doesn't matter which one you are. We all just want to be loved and be happy. We all just don't We all don't want suffering and pain. So, you know, if you can squat, it doesn't mean you're happier and more loved, right? So these things, whether you can do them or not, have actually very little consequence when in terms of, you know, the most important things in our lives. So you don't worry if you can't do a pose well. All right, and then come into standing fold. You do it what works for you. In this first standing fold, have your knees bent and the head heavy, and you can sway the fingertips one side and sway the other side. Sway one side and sway the other side. And then as you're swaying, gently start to unroll so that you're unrolling with a little bit of a sway. That's a bit tricky, then you don't need to sway, just unroll. But if you want to do a little swaying while you unroll, that adds a whole extra dimension to the movement and the unfurling. And then once you get upright, standing up, you can sweep the arms out. Take up all your space, arms overhead, exhale, arms by side. Sweep arms out. Exhale behind. Simple but good movies. Good move. Inhale. And then even as you reach out, you're bringing your arms a little bit behind you. So you open up in the front of the chest. And then one more over. Taking tiny back bend and exhale, interlace the hands behind your back. Squeeze the front of the shoulders back. And if this is difficult, if you have a belt or a strap or a scarf or a towel, you can just hold on to that. And squeeze shoulders back. Bend your knees, have your feet away from one another. Bring your belly between the thighs, look back between the thighs and bring the arms away from your back. If you want to do this with straight legs, you can, but I usually encourage people to do the first one or to go into it first with a bent leg and then go straighter, if straight seems useful. Then come up, release the hands, sweep them over the head. Little back bend, you can look up, and this time take the hands behind a second time and other thumb on top. The only difference is the clasp feels you usually probably went the automatic way, now the less automatic way. Squeeze back, and then as you're here this time, if you like, you can take a little more back bend here. You can arch if it feels good for your back. Of course, don't do it if it's too much for your back, where you lift out of the low back and you lift the chest and you can squeeze the arms back, maybe look up. And then bend the knees, bring the belly between the thighs, let the head drop and look back between the legs, and the arms can maybe come away. Maybe legs straight or bent. You can decide. You can also do some swaying. Like we did in the standing fold, you can sway with your arms behind you like this. And then release, sweep the arms high. And palms through center. Taking a pause, sensing yourself from the ground up. Sensing your connection, rootedness through your feet, down into your mat, into the floor, into your house, the building you're in, down through the foundations and into the earth that we share with all other humans and the animals. Everyone just wanting happiness, trying to find some fulfillment, some sense of safety and peace. And everybody trying to avoid unhappiness, pain, fear, and so forth. Sweep the arms over your head. And this time, grab your elbows. We did this earlier when we were lying down. Now do it here where we're standing. Move the elbows away from one another while you're holding your hands just for a moment. And see that. And then release, arms down by your side, and we'll do it a second time by reaching up and grabbing the elbows, but the other forearm in front. Elbows move away, hands hold the elbows or the forearm. And release. Bring your hands behind your back. And this time, hold your elbows behind your back. And if you don't get your elbows, your forearms are fine. Okay. As you stand, let the tailbone release down and lift your neck, lift chest. Take a little look up. Stretching the front of the neck. If this doesn't feel good for your neck, don't do it. And then look forward, sweep the arms over your head again. And one more, the hands behind, but just change which forearm is on top. Grab the elbows or the forearms, root down through your feet without overarching in your low back. Start to lift in the chest, lift the neck, maybe gaze up. And then bring your head forward, release the arms, and then just give a shake out the arms. Shake one arm, shake the other arm. And then while we're shaking, let's shake the legs. Do a good shake. Shake every day. Squat every day, shake every day. These are little moves I do myself. Shake every day. All right, a bit more shaky. Just now feel really silly. Okay, shake it. Get sillier. Last 20 seconds. Shake, shake, shake. Last silliness. Okay. And pause. Feel the energy after you're shaking. Feel the energy. Feel vibratory, right? Strong vibration. It's extremely useful to shake every day, to shake out the limbs, shake the pelvis. It's a thing. It's actually a good thing for our nervous system. All right, let's do a couple of standing pose or two. So stand at the front of your mat. I'll turn my mat to face you, will be easier. Stand at the front of your mat and have your feet a little bit apart from one another. Bend the knees. Take the weight into the left leg and step the right foot back. And don't step it back really, really far, but the front leg is going to actually stay straight, go straight, and the back leg is straight as well. Hands on the pelvis. You turn your pelvis forward and you have your feet a little distance left to right. Okay, do your best to have your legs straight, and you can engage your right butt, the right tush. Okay, sweep the arms up and exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Look down at your feet and the legs are pretty straight and you engage the quads. You press down through the roots of the toes and then squeeze your shoulders back and lift the chest to the sky. And then start to forward fold over your front leg. Careful, it can be a bit wobbly here. At some point, whenever you like, bring your fingertips down. I didn't tell you to take your blocks with you, but blocks are extremely helpful in this pose quite often, either on the highest height, middle height, or low height. As you head on over, you can have your hips move gently side to side. You forward fold over your front leg. Feeling the stretch through the front leg especially. Look towards the back of the mat, last breath. Ground into the feet, slowly come up. Arms can come high. And by your side, push off the back foot to come and stand at the front of the mat. And we'll take it to the other side. Bend your knees, transfer the weight into the right, step back into the left. Now, you don't want it too close. You don't want it like way too far. So it's kind of like Goldilocks. You want it just right, which is a little hard. It's like, you know, there's a lot of things that work over Zoom, but something like this I can't really see. I wish I could see to help you, you know, if you're not sure the distance. Okay, hands on hips, and you turn the hips towards the short edge of the mat. Sweep the arms out and interlace the hands behind the back of the thumb on top. Before we squeeze back in the upper back, just ground through your feet, your legs, the roots of the toes. Engage the quads by lifting the kneecaps. Then squeeze shoulders back. Lift your throat. Keep the eyes open. Help with the balance, rooting down through legs. And then slowly forward fold. You can keep the hands behind your back for as long as you like. Or at some point you bring them down to high blocks, medium blocks, low blocks, and forward fold over your front leg. If you need to bend the front leg, you do. But if you keep it straight, then we get a lot of tugging. So do what feels useful in service of your body, your health. Breathing easily, smoothly in and out. And then you can slowly come up, hands on the hips. Push off the back foot to step forward. And we're going to take one more stepping back. And this one, you're going to see if you can step back perhaps a little bit further. And then when you step back, going to spin, so you're just on the toes of the back foot and bend the front knee. So we're in a high lunge. And if you're a bit wobbly, that's normal. It definitely requires more balance. You can bring your hands into your blocks while you sort out your legs. Heel up. If you can, bend the front knee, a bit of wobble, no problem. And bend the front knee and straighten out the back leg. High lunge. Sweep the arms up. And hold on to your elbows. Take any amount of back bend that you like. And if you don't want to hold on the elbows, that's fine. Just reach the arms out instead. It's just an option. We've done that a couple of times. Then another twist to lemon is to lean a little bit towards the left. Either holding the elbows, or you could have your left hand hold on to the right and lean a little to the left, or leave it out if it's too much. And coming up, reach high. Bring the hands on the hips and push off the back leg to come and stand at the front. And then let's see how it goes the other side. Maybe more wobbly, maybe less wobbly, we'll see. Bend the knees, transfer the weight, step back. Now you're going into the high lunge, so a little bit more distance between the feet, front to back. Front knee bends, back heel comes up if you're able. Bend the front knee and then straighten out the back leg. Sweep arms up and other forearm on top as you grab your forearms. And you could take a little more back bend as you bend into the front knee, or you can just let the arms reach up. So lunge with some back bend. And then you can take it leaning over to the right side if that is calling you, if it's useful, something you'd like to explore. If it's too frustrating, not working out today, then just leave it. No big deal. Really no big deal. Last breath. And slowly up, hands on the hips, push off the back leg. And come and stand. Take your legs nice and wide along the long edge of the mat. Legs can be wide. Sweep high. And then forward fold. Bend your knees and then move the weight side to side. Bent knee, move the weight to the right side. Bent knee, move the weight to the left side. And then both legs straight if you like. Make sure you're looking back. If you want, you can bring a little pressure in the back of the neck. Your toes are a little pigeon-toed. You could hold on to your ankles. And then let's heel toe our way back into a squat. And from the squat, I'm going to do one more back bendy thing before we get to the cooling down. So the back bendy thing is camel. It's not a beginner's pose, but it can be done in a beginner gentle way. Okay, so you just see what works for you. You come onto your shins, and I'm using a blanket, you don't have to. And then people, sometimes a roll underneath the ankle can be helpful. Bring your hands, your thumbs, so there's different places you can place the hands and they have different effect. But for now, let's bring the thumbs, each side of the spine, in an area. Well, I mean, actually, you can choose. You can go lower, sacrum, you can go higher, just underneath floating ridge. So you choose, but have your thumbs each side of the spine somewhere. Then we're going to squeeze the shoulders back. You can look forward at first and take a back bend where you're encouraging your tailbone down, but you do bend in your low back, but you don't want to like just dump into the low back. So tailbone down, bend the low back, look up, squeeze the shoulders. So look forward and then look up. And you decide how much you go. Maybe lean back a little bit more, maybe not. And then release and come down. And then when you rest on your shins, you can just take a moment, rest on the shins. Sometimes people like to also take child's pose in between. We'll try it again. This time, tuck your toes under so you can see you got your heels higher. And we're going to take some arm circles. Right arm, circle, and then left arm circle. So one at a time. And notice how my chest moves towards the right when I do right arm. Chest moves when I do left. Do one more each side. Big circles open in the front of the chest. Big circles open in front of the chest. Then from here, squeeze your shoulders and see if your fingertips can touch the back of the heels, and then lift up. Gaze can be forward or let your head tip back. Reach out of the low back. Let your chest lift to the sky. 2 or 3 breaths more, less or more, you decide. Or you come back just to the hands, to your low back instead. Last breath. And release out. Okay, great. Take a moment, rest, child's pose. or sitting up, just rest after the back bend. And come and lie on your back. Nothing under your head, and circle the knees one way. Circle the knees the other way. Hug the left knee in, extend the right leg out. Left leg pulling back, right leg extending out. And release both feet on the ground, lift your pelvis up, take it over to the left, hug your knees in and drop both legs all the way over to the right. So at the beginning of the class, we did a little twist, but I got you to keep your shoulders on the ground. This time, you don't need to keep the shoulder on the ground. Let your legs win, let them come over to the ground. The knees can be tucked in, up, or a little further away. Turn your head in the direction of your tucked up knees. Breathe into your belly. Feel the massaging effect of the belly with the breath. Lengthen your exhales. And bring it back to center. Level the pelvis in the middle of the mat. And hug your right knee in. Extend the left leg out. Right knee comes back. Left leg extends out. Take a moment here. And then bend the knees, feet on the ground. Lift your pelvis up. Take it over to the right. Tuck your knees in and let your legs go all the way over to the ground, rolling onto the left side of your pelvis, and then open the right arm. The right shoulder doesn't need to stay down, and anywhere that's comfortable for your arm. Turn your head to the left. Take some easy, slow, deep breaths, lengthening your exhale. The inhale happens by itself. Bring yourself back to the center when you're ready. And roll over and push up, because right before Shavasana, I'd like to do a relaxing, more of a restorative. So if you get your blanket or your towels, and I'm going to roll the blanket into a roll. The firmer your blanket is usually the more supportive it is. Bring it into your mat. You can also have a towel, a small towel for your head if you like. I also use a small towel for my head. Bring your tush on your mat, and the edge of the blanket is touching the back of your tush. And then lie down lay your spine on the roll with or without something under your head. Adjust yourself so you're comfortable, and you want your butt on the ground. If the butt doesn't get to the ground, then you can get a blanket or a towel. Just demo with my towel. You can get a blanket or a towel and bring it under your butt. Okay, so you want to feel okay in your low back, and then let's rest a few moments. Your legs can extend out. Your arms nice and wide, or wherever you like them, really. You might still have your eyes open just a little bit. Inner and outer awareness. Even just a little bit of light coming in, looking through the eyelashes. As you sense your inner experience, this has a name, and it's getting more buzz now, this word called interoception or interoception, which means a kind of having an awareness, a sensing of our inner world, not just our body, not just where we are in space, that's proprioception, whether we're standing or sitting or inside or outside or leaning over. But interoception, sensing your beating heart, that's a practice of interoception. Feeling the air move through the air passages and how the lungs and ribs move. That's interoception, awareness. Noticing your belly move. Notice the feeling along the spine in your low back. Being aware of your legs, your feet, perhaps the temperature of your feet. Noticing in your hips, low belly, pelvis. Noticing the space through the abdomen and this little mild back bend and the low ribs. Beneath the low ribs, there's lots of wideness. Coming up through the heart, resting in the letting the throat rest. And the tongue can rest at the, letting the tongue touch the roof of the mouth. Teeth can be a little bit away from one another. Jaw relaxed. Eyes sinking back into your head. The temples relaxed, the inner ears quiet. And the arms just relaxed wherever they are. If you're super comfortable here, just stay here and you can use your Shavasana. If you're deeply into this space and happy and comfortable, then just stay. If you're a bit squirmy or you don't feel comfortable, you kind of had enough of that pose with the blanket underneath you, then bring yourself slowly out and come into Shavasana. You could use your blanket under the back of the knees if you wish. Okay, so we just take a few more minutes resting, whatever you decided. appreciating that deep rest is so important. And conscious rest is also important. Not only is our sleep, which is, primarily unconscious, but also a conscious rest has a very powerful effect and is an excellent practice to bring into our life, our days.